The moment a conversation turns into an argument, you stop listening to the other person. You start listening to your own defense. And the strange part? You don't even notice it happening. You know the feeling. You're talking to someone. Maybe a partner. Maybe a parent. Maybe a friend. And somewhere in the middle of the conversation, something shifts. Your chest gets tight. Your voice speeds up. You're not really hearing their words anymore. You're already building your next sentence before they've even finished theirs. You're not in a conversation anymore. You're in a courtroom, and you're building your case. Sound familiar? Here's the thing nobody tells you. By the time you notice you're heated, you're already 10 steps deep into it. The moment already happened. Your body reacted before your mind caught up. That's not a character flaw. That's just how you're built. Here's what's actually happening in that moment. When a conversation feels threatening, even just emotionally threatening, your brain doesn't know the difference between this person disagrees with me and this person is dangerous. It reacts the same way it would if you saw a snake on the path. Heart rate up. Breathing shallow. Focus narrows. This is your body preparing to fight, flee, or freeze. A system designed for physical danger, now firing off because someone said, "You never listened to me." And once that system turns on, something interesting happens to your thinking. The part of your brain responsible for reasoning, patience, and understanding another person's point of view. It quietly steps back. It doesn't disappear, but it loses priority. The part of your brain built for survival takes the wheel instead. This is why, in a heated moment, smart, kind, reasonable people say things they don't mean. It's not that they became a different person. It's that a different part of them took over the conversation. And here's the part that explains almost every argument you've ever had. Once both people are in that state, they're not actually talking to each other anymore. They're talking to a threat. Two nervous systems, both convinced they're under attack, both trying to defend themselves, while thinking they're having a discussion. No wonder nothing gets resolved. You're not solving a disagreement. You're fighting a phantom danger that isn't really there. Here's the part most people never realize. You can't think your way out of this state. That's the trap. In the middle of a heated moment, your instinct is to explain yourself better. Argue your point more clearly. Make them understand. But you're trying to use logic on a system that isn't running on logic anymore. It's like trying to fix a phone by yelling at it louder. The real skill, the one almost nobody is taught, isn't about finding the right words. It's about noticing the state you're in before you speak. There's a tiny window, a few seconds, sometimes less, right when your chest tightens or your voice gets sharp. That's the moment everything is decided. Not what you say next, whether you're even capable of saying something helpful. Most people miss that window every single time. Not because they're careless, but because nobody ever told them the window exists. So here's what actually works once you know where to look. First, you name what's happening, even just to yourself. Not he's being unreasonable, something quieter. I'm activated right now. That single sentence, said silently in your head, does something almost magical. It pulls a small piece of your reasoning brain back online. You can't fully calm down by thinking, but you can interrupt the spiral just enough to create space. Second, you slow your body before you slow your words. A slower breath out than in, unclenching your jaw, dropping your shoulders. This sounds too simple to matter, but your mind takes its cues from your body, not the other way around. Calm your physical state, and your thinking follows a few seconds later. Third, you get curious about their fear, not their words. Underneath almost every heated sentence someone says is a fear, not an attack. You never listen to me usually means I feel invisible. You always do this usually means I don't feel safe bringing this up. If you can hear the fear instead of the accusation, the whole conversation changes shape. Fourth, you give the moment permission to pause. I want to keep talking about this, but I need 5 minutes first is not avoidance. It's one of the most mature sentences a person can say in an argument. It tells the other person, this matters enough that I want to get it right, not fast. None of this is about winning the conversation. It's about staying present enough to actually have one. Here's the quiet truth underneath all of this. Most heated arguments were never really about the topic. They were two nervous systems, mistaking each other for danger, trying to protect themselves the only way they knew how. The people who seem good at conflict aren't calmer by nature. They just learnt to notice the moment before the storm and choose, on purpose, not to walk into it. You don't need better arguments. You need a few more seconds of awareness before you speak. That's the whole secret. Not louder words, just a little more space right before the heat takes over.